I'm your conductor for the evening, and I'm going to take you through the best huddle of the best huddle ever.
Let's see what you got, Sam. Go. The floor is yours. What do we have this week?
I am ready to give the long-awaited pitch to you that I think is going to transform your organization from what it is today to what it could promise and become. And I am here to share with you a high divide, worldwide corp incorporated presentation. So Nick, let me ask you.
Yes.
Why do you own a sports franchise? Why does one own a sports franchise? Do they own a sports franchise? This is a rhetorical question.
Oh, sorry.
No
okay.
need to interject. Do they own a sports franchise for the love of their fans, to give their fans happiness? Or maybe it's out of civic pride for their city, and they really want to have an organization in the community that city could be proud of. Or do they just simply want to win? Do they want to attain that ultimate prize, that mountaintop that is victory over the league? The answer to this is none of these.
What?
They want money. They want to make as much money as possible. Have you ever seen an owner of a sports team that wants to make less money? No. They want to make fat piles of cash. Now, we know that we can make some cash with a Big Data Bowl win. Winning the Big Data Bowl could land you up to $100,000 and a job in the NFL. That got printed in the newspaper, so you know it's true. But I know owners, and I know, why would you have $100,000 when you could have $100 million?
What?
So, what I propose to you today is a business proposition. How are the Indianapolis Colts, Nick Wynn's version, going to make more money? You may think it's through winning, but we just talked about that. No. Is it building a fan base? Building up your Twitch stream? Maybe, but that could take a long time. No. So what's the answer? It's what the answer has always been for every franchise since the beginning of time. Sponsorships. So, I propose to you getting in bed with a brand that aligns with this stream.
Oh, no.
That aligns with your core values as a Twitch streamer and as an analytics person. Now, brand alignment's about peanut butter going with jelly. It's about Nike going with Jordan. It's about the Big Hurt and Nugenics and Will Levis and Mayo. I mean, when you think of these people, you think of these brands. Now, when I think of Nick Wynn, I think of Blimpie Subshot.
Why? Right. No,
that is right. Blimpie, America's Sub Shop, is the best possible brand for this team to align with, and I think it has the potential to be sponsorship gold. So much so that I'm going to propose that you invest in the Blimpies franchise. Now, I've got a 3-pronged ad campaign.
Okay.
The first step here, synergistic cross-horizontal integration. It's all everybody in marketing is talking about these days. It's going to be a program called Subs for Subs.
Okay.
The second is going to be giveaways. The Great Submerican Blimp Tour Mega Sweepstakes giveaway. And then the third is going to be athletes endorsements. And you're going to love this one.
Okay.
So let's start with Subs for Subs. Now, here is my idea, and I think it's an infinite money glitch. What you need to do is you need to invest in Blimpies franchises. You open those franchises up. Now, what's a sub run these days? Like $6.99, $7.99. And a Twitch subscription is like $5, $5.99, whatever. Now, it costs you $3 to make the sub and $7 to sell it. But your Twitch sub is $6. Now, here's where the infinite money glitch comes into play. If you offer a free sub for every subscriber, then you pay $3, they'll sub for $6, and then you make the $3, and then the hope is they forget they're subbed and they just keep paying you every month. And that's how one sub that would have been $7 can turn into almost $60 over the course of the year. Now, I think this on its own has the potential to earn you millions in revenue. But we're not going to stop at subs for subs. That's where your blimp comes into play. Because if you're running a Blimpies and you own a blimp, you got to get those two things working together. So I propose that you have a sweepstakes, similar to like back in the day when McDonald's would do the Monopoly game. We can do like a blimp game where you spell some type of word, and if you get that word, you can win a trip on the Great Submarican Blimp Tour. Now, you might ask, what is offered in this blimp trip? You get blimp travel with Nick. You get free Blimpies subs. Now, this is going to be the pickle loaf sandwich only. You don't get chips or drinks with that. You got to pay for that on the blimp.
What is a pickle loaf sandwich?
Pickle loaf. I mean, it's a lost form of deli meat that I know has fallen out of popularity, but with all the tradwife influencers and kind of going back to the 1800s, I think people are really going to start getting into pickle loaf again. So we got to move that pickle loaf. We can also get pickle loaf for super cheap. It's like $1.99 a pound.
Oh my
So
god.
that's a sandwich we really want to be giving away, right? And if they buy the chips and drinks, we're not really giving it away. The second thing on the blimp, there's going to be a DVD player with a copy of Cars and Cars 2. You will get your own personal sleeping cot with a waifu pillow. I will ensure there's unlimited hi-fi on the blimp, and there's 5 megabit internet and more. And you get to visit with Nick these famous cities: Milan, Paris, London, Berlin, Versailles, Amsterdam, Edinburgh, and Fort Wayne, Indiana. So, I mean, what could be better than a trip to these famous cities with Nick? I think this is going to drive a ton of interest in the brand.
Wait, hold on. This is just 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 so I'm seeing this right. This is hold on one second. This is Milan, Indiana, Paris, Kentucky, London, Kentucky, Berlin, Illinois, Versailles, Indiana, Amsterdam. These are just. Are these real cities?
These are all real locations. Look, we got a budget here, right? Like, we're here to make money, not spend money. But I think when people see the poster and they see these cities, they're not going to worry about what state they're in. They're just going to be like, all right, I'm going to travel the world with Nick and watch Cars 37 times. So really, I think it's just to hook them in. They'll be happy wherever they go. They don't really care. It's just, little embellishment, let's say.
Just a little.
I think all the extra perks will be the selling point, not where you're going. It's the journey, not the destination, as I say.
Okay.
Now, I know you're probably like, oh my God, seeing dollar signs with both eyes. Both these ideas are home runs, but the real home run is about to come. Everybody knows that scum brand Subway is the brand of so-called athletes I want us to be the brand of the sports data science goats. Now, this is something that's going to sell subs. I want every data scientist in the US and across the world to dominate their next lunch and learn with the sandwich that fuels NFL data science. Who needs Curry, Rapino, and Brady when you got Yurko, Huang, and Greg? Blimpies, subs so big, you will strain to fit them in your mouth.
Oh
I
my
mean,
god.
the ad copy writes itself, right?
Yeah.
So,
Continue.
with those three marketing plans in place, my anticipation for revenues is through the roof. And the best part of this is Cincinnati is an untapped market to get started in. There's a Blimpies in Dayton, there's a Blimpies in Indiana, but there is nothing smack dab in the center of Cincinnati. You can dominate the sub market and win, win, win for both the Indianapolis Colts and your Blimpies franchise. Now, I know what you're asking. How much is this going to cost me? It's going to be nothing. This is a tiny investment. A traditional Blimpies restaurant, about 242K to $564,000 a year. But the smaller non-traditional restaurants are 75,000 to 335K. So what I'm thinking is you could get a smaller non-traditional restaurant and set that up in the Red Stadium. That'll be rent free, and that's pocket change. And once you get the sub shop set up, we can get these marketing plans in place and get going. So Nick, don't Hindenburg this opportunity and fail to get it on the deal of a lifetime. I want you to soar off in the sunset on your blimp with that bag in hand. And that concludes the High Divide presentation of the week. So what do you think?
Uh isn't isn't like the idea of subs for subs like some form of like I multi-level marketing or something?
No, I went over this. It's synergistic cross-vertical integration.
Oh, right.
Everybody in marketing is doing it these days. It's a
Right.
way for you to print money.
Right. Isn't this like the same? Isn't this like similar to how like gym memberships work?
Well, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. We definitely need to make canceling a very cost prohibitive activity because if they only sub for 1 month for one sub, it's really not going to do much for the bottom line. What we need to do is lure them in with free food and then capture them for as long as possible. It's the Planet Fitness model. Oh, you want pizza on Friday? Well, guess what? You're going to pay for a gym membership till you're 87 years old. That's what you need to do with your Twitch stream.
Okay, I see the vision. I see the vision here. Um,
Look, I know we couldn't get John Montana. I know 500K a year was too much, but this is a way to put money in the coffers so you can go out and get that big time coach.
and who is that big time coach?
Well, it should have been John Montana, but I hear he's moving on to other opportunities. I hear he's waiting for the New England job to open now. He thinks he can be the next Bill Belichick, and I believe him.
Did you know that Lambda Labs is the number one GPU cloud service for machine learning engineers and AI developers? If you didn't, you could check them out! Exclamation Lambda. There's a free link to $20 just for you, chat. Just for you. So sign up today.
We can talk about what we're working on.
Oh, okay.
I guess I did a little bit of work, a little bit of digging. So at the last time we met, we talked a little bit about the initial data set. I'm going to do a very quick overview of some of the motion data I've been looking at. We'll talk a little bit about the top ideas we might have going on here. And then I've got a little interesting tidbit from the Twitter sphere about our coaching hire. So let me pull this up really quickly. No, no, no. All right. So just to quickly go over the motion data for people actually interested in data science, which I don't know why you would be, or the big data bowl. Started looking specifically at pre-snap motion. Put in here just a quick definition for those unfamiliar with what a shift is versus what a motion is, because we'll be looking at shifts versus motion really quickly. Shifts are when two or more players in motion, and they can do this multiple times before the snap, move pre-snap. However, they must come to a complete stop and be set simultaneously for at least one full second. So this is any movement that would occur before snap, but must be set prior to snap for at least a full second. Motion is going to be any pre-snap movement by an off-ball aligned player in the backfield while the ball is being snapped or before the ball is being snapped. Only one player can be in motion at a time. They can move laterally, but not towards the line of scrimmage. So motion is going to be anybody that's moving pre-snap that could potentially continue to move pre-snap, but they've got specific rules around that they have to be off the line of scrimmage. So when we look at this data in the player plays column, what we'll see is they've provided motion since line set, shift since line set, and in motion at ball snap. This is for all 22 players on every play. What we see is about 1 to 1.5% of the rows have this designation. If you start looking at this data by position, and I've sorted this on a number of observations here, we're going to see this only classifies offensive players. So these indicators don't give you any idea about pre-snap motion for the defense, just the offense. Wide receiver, tight end, running back here, fullback, and roughly, um, if we look at just motion since line set, about 6% of wide receivers are in motion since line set, 8% of tight ends, and it kind of gets higher as we go down to fullbacks. But if you just look at plays where somebody's in motion or somebody's shifting, we get about 30% motion since line set, roughly 19% for shift, and then in motion at ball snap correlates well with motion since line set, which makes sense. What I wanted to do is figure out how far particular players are moving. So I'll just go through this really quickly. Calculated some distances. So we've got the mean distance traveled. This is basically from line set to snap. Median, max, min, standard deviation. So just looking at your summary stats. Broke that out by indicators. I'm going to just skip to the graphs because this shit's boring as hell. So let me zoom in for the money shot. If we look, oh shit, there we go. If we look at density plot of distances by motion or position and motion status, like I said, what you'll see is only offensive players get this designation of motion since line set or not. But you can get an idea of how far they're moving pre-snap. So a wide receiver not in motion, or this is a wide receiver not in motion, doesn't move at all. But when they are in motion, they're typically moving between 10 and 15 yards. Shift, we see more of movement in the fullbacks for shifts, as well as tight ends, pretty broad range from almost 0 to 15 yards. And then motion at ball snap. Once again, wide receivers are moving quite a bit, running backs less, and then fullbacks as well. So when we look at the data provided by the Big Data Bowl, in terms of identifying if you're in motion or shifting. It's all going to be on the offensive side. Um, then started looking at some defensive coverages. Long story short, a lot of the data in the players and plays data set is going to be focused on the offensive side of the ball. That doesn't mean the defensive side of the ball isn't moving. We do see yards traveled from line set to snap, pretty decent distribution of movement, particularly with cornerbacks, but they're not going to be identified in that data set. So if you want to do something on the defensive side of the ball, you can't really rely on those indicators. That's really kind of where we're at with themes, but definitely need to narrow this down. Hoping we can get the coach in place, lock down some time with the coach, get their words of wisdom, and get started on one of these ideas.
Okay.
Blockers this week, one announcement. So, saw this tweet from Schefter. I think everybody needs to see this. He is hearing that a former prominent Indianapolis Colts coach is in the running for the Indianapolis Colts Nick Wansversion's coaching role. This would be the first time a former Indianapolis Colts coach becomes a current Indianapolis Colts Nick Wansversion's coach. Make it make sense. This is a tweet from Schefter today. I wanted to know, do you have any inside knowledge on this? Do you have anything you want to tell the people? Are there any tidbits? Can you confirm Schefter's rumors?
E- Even if I did know, I wouldn't know.
All right. Being Corey, I see.
I
Well,
mean,
we're going to leave it there. Hopefully, we'll hear more from this individual next week. But I'm pretty excited to have a former Colts coach joining the franchise. I think that would be a big W for our version of the Indianapolis Colts.
okay. No comment.